Hi everybody, Xavier Velez here, coming to you for another experiment. Today we're going to be doing penny oxidation. So I have everything I need here, and I have my trusty assistant Leia, who's going to help me out. So just real quick overview. Oxidation occurs when an atom in a molecule loses an electron, and that's kind of its basic chemical reaction. It's a fundamental chemical reaction that affects many things, both inside and out of the body. So today we're going to talk about pennies. Now, everybody knows pennies. We see pennies. They're filthy, they're dirty, and we almost never use them. But they do have value, most importantly, for an experiment. So with the pennies, we're going to take a look because all pennies start out as like a bright copper. Some of these are newer and they're pretty bright, and then some of these are older and they're dirty and gross looking. As you can see, some of the differences there. So 1 cent US pennies are coated, used to be coated, or they're coated in pure copper. At one point they were completely copper, but of course because of the value and expenses, since the 1980s they have been zinc pennies coated in copper, as opposed to being completely in copper. So let's see, older pennies will look darker, newer pennies will look brighter. So in terms of the chemical reaction that we're going to do today, let's talk some chemical components. So air is composed approximately of 78%, nitrogen is 21%, oxygen, and the rest of the air is composed of trace gases, small amounts of other gases, and carbon dioxide and argon and water vapor and so on. When oxygen molecules interact with other substances, the chemical reaction is known as oxidation, which is what we're going to do today. A chemical change or a chemical reaction is a change that takes place when the atoms of a substance are rearranged and then the bond between the atoms are broken and or formed. So today's activities, we're going to use some household items. First, we have some regular vinegar, and then we have some salt, and obviously our pennies. So let's get started. First, we're going to pour some vinegar into our trusty little glass here. Done. Next, we're going to put some salt in. And we're going to stir it up. And this is essentially going to allow an oxidation process of these pennies when we throw them in. So what I'm going to do first thing here is I'm going to have my assistant take these and put them into our mixture here. So Leia, go for it. Nope. And what we should end up seeing is these pennies automatically start to get clean. Okay, and it takes some time for the oxidation to start occurring. But what should eventually happen, which you can see already, is that the very brown portions of these pennies start to go away and they start to clean themselves. Okay, and so we'll let that sit for a little bit longer while it continues to clean. Okay, so copper oxide is brownish and sometimes black in color, and depending on other things in the penny's environment, this is why most pennies you see look dirty and tarnished. It's not actually dirt, but the copper oxide that makes them look so dull. And so in this process, we're reversing that, if you will. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to take these pennies out and we're going to put them in some water to stop the process. So let's take these out, and we will stop the process that was occurring. by placing them in water. Next, we're going to try a new experiment. And you can see here, the pennies are much cleaner than when the original went into the mixture. Next, we're going to throw some new pennies in there, and you can see how they instantly start to become clean. It's actually really cool. All that dark, gooky griminess just goes away. You can see good old Abe Lincoln start to reappear. So while this is going on, fun fact, Statue of Liberty. Statue of Liberty, which is green. Everybody knows that it's green today. But when it was first delivered to the United States and when it was put together, it was not green. It was copper. Okay. The Statue of Liberty is made of copper and was initially a shiny reddish brown color. Technically, we could use this process that we're doing here to clean the Statue of Liberty and make it reddish brown again. But that would take a lot of vinegar and salt. So we're not going to do that, and it's going to turn green again anyway. But it's the same process. So look, take a look here. Let's pan the camera. Let's look at how clean these look now. And now we're going to take these out, and we're going to put them down without placing them in water. And we're going to see what happens.
It might take longer than normal.
This isn't happening as fast as it did in some of the other videos that we looked at. But I think it's slowly happening. So what should be happening is these should start to turn green because when they are not washed and exposed to air for long periods of time during the oxidation process, they should turn green, like the Statue of Liberty. But I don't necessarily see it happening. It's probably because we have to wait a longer period of time. Maybe they're not dirty enough. Well, this kind of happens. So you could look at this penny. I put a droplet on this penny, and you can see where it made a fancy design just on that penny. All right, so I mean, I didn't get the total outcome of the experiment that I wanted, but we did get the oxidation process of the pennies. So with that said, that concludes our experiment. Have a great day.